healthy friends, Carrie here again today. So excited to be talking to you about the third macronutrient in this macronutrient series, fats. So, what are fats and why are fats so important? Let me tell you. Fats are one of the 3 macronutrients in our diet that we need to sustain our life and our energy. So in previous videos, I talked about carbohydrates and I talked about proteins. So if you haven't watched those, I'll link them below so that you can have a look. But fats are the third component of what we should be eating every day. Fats are really good for you. And despite popular opinions, popular diets, popular, stuff that's going on in the media right now, fats are a really important component of the diet. Fats provide, believe it or not, the most concentrated source of energy for the body. So without getting into too many scientific details, the body uses carbohydrates first for energy. But once the carbohydrate stores are depleted, the body then turns to fat for more energy production. So it's really important that there's a balance between the two in the body. You can't have one and you can't have the other. You can't separate the two. So you want to make sure that you're filling your diet with the right carbohydrates, which I've listed in the video that I've linked below, but then you also want to make sure that you're consuming the right kinds of fats. Fats come in 3 different forms: the unsaturated, saturated, and trans fat. And the fats that I'm going to be walking through today are more of the healthier fats that you want to be considering. We don't keep any trans fats in our kitchen at all. And the way that I define trans fats may not be the way that science defines it. I just basically say, in essence, if it comes in a package, it probably has trans fats. And trans fats are terrible for you. And I would say if you're eating things from packages, take a look at the back side of the package. So take a look at the nutritional information, the nutrition facts, and see if you see trans fats. If you see anything with trans fats on there that's above 0 grams, do not eat it. So we'll walk through these fats and these fat sources that I keep in our kitchen, and I'll talk a little bit about how I use them and why they're so great. Number 1 of my most favorite fats that I don't cook with anymore. So I just use these in salad dressings, but olive oil. And you can see here, it'll focus, I don't know. This olive oil is a special olive oil. We order olive oil from an olive oil club. You don't have to necessarily do that. We just happen to really enjoy doing this. We've been doing this for years and years. But try to get extra virgin olive oil and see if you can get it so that it's cold pressed. Olive oil is a great source of fat. Obviously, when you're eating fats, you want to make sure that you're eating small amounts of fats, but olive oil is a really good source of fats that you can add into homemade salad dressings. And I created a video on how to create a grab-and-go salad jar, and I created a little mini tutorial on how to create your own salad dressing, so you can check it out down below. But I use olive oils in those salad dressings. Great source of fat. Now when I cook, I want to cook with a fat like coconut oil that has a higher melting point. That's not really true. I don't even know if it's a higher melting point. I actually think it's like a higher burning point. I'm gonna cook with coconut oil because it has a higher burning point, and the molecules don't turn toxic when they're heated to very high levels. Coconut oil is one of the best fats out there for you right now. I cook with it. I also make this really amazing golden milk that's like a turmeric milk that I drink before going to bed, and I add a little bit of coconut oil into that as well. Some people also drink bulletproof coffee, which is coffee, grass-fed butter, as well as a little bit of multi-chain fat, which I would just use coconut oil, but you could use MCT oil, which is technically what you should be using. It's a great source of fat, it's very clean, and I would say one of my favorites. I saute things in fat. I do all of my cooking with coconut oil because of that burning point. Very important. The next piece of fat is, I don't actually have it with me, is grass-fed butter. I prefer Kerrygold butter over any other kind of butter, and I prefer it unsalted. If you buy the unsalted butter, that means that you can add your own element of salt so that you don't have to rely on the salt that's already put in there. But the grass-fed cow butter is so good for you because the cows are being fed the grass, which means that they're not being fed corn, which is usually the case here in the United States. And as they're being fed the grass, they're processing the dairy inside their bodies in a way that is much more natural. So the grass-fed butter is much better for you as a result. So I would recommend grass-fed butter as opposed to any other kind of butter. And if you can get the Kerrygold, that's my favorite. Then let's talk a little bit about nuts. Nuts provide an amazing source of fat and also protein. I put nut butters or chopped nuts on a lot of things. If I'm having oatmeal in the morning, I get my protein from the nut butter, but I also get a really good source of fat. One of my absolute favorite nut butters is almond butter, but my even more favorite nut butter is this cashew butter. I love cashew butter like it's nobody's business. I could just eat it out of this jar. But cashew butter has a lot of great, almond butter too, but cashew butter has a lot of great features. So let's just think about it. So a serving of cashew butter is 2 tablespoons. That's quite a lot of cashew butter. It has a lot of calories, almost 200, which is good. I mean, if you're eating oatmeal and then you're putting this in, oatmeal doesn't have that many calories. It has maybe 150 calories. So you're really only getting 200 plus 150. That's 350 calories just in those 2 elements of your breakfast. You need a little bit more than that anyway. But let's talk about the fat here. The fat content, there's 16 grams of fat in this 2 tablespoon serving that you would be taking. And that's a lot of fat, but it's plant-based fat, and there's protein in it as well. There's 4 grams of protein. So despite the fact that you look at this nutrition facts label here and you see that there's so much fat, that's okay. I would say just go sparingly on it. You probably don't need more than 2 tablespoons of cashew butter, almond butter. I kind of say go light on peanut butter because it's just not as good for you as the nut butters. These peanuts are not really actually nuts, but I would say go light on it, but enjoy. And then there are the raw nuts. These are raw pecan halves. I keep these in the freezer. I keep, at all times, I keep pecans, walnuts, cashews, and I keep a lot of almonds in the freezer. And we use almonds for a lot of things. I make nut milks with nuts, so cashew milk as well as almond milk. I also can make nut butters with my food processor. So I've made pistachio butter, I've made cashew butter, I've made almond butter, I've made all sorts of different kinds of butters. And then these are great to just sprinkle on salads. So if you take a tablespoon or 2 and you sprinkle it on salads, you've got some good vegetarian protein source, but you also have a great fat source in addition to homemade dressing. So nuts are a great option. And then finally, I want to show you, I'm sorry that it looks like this, but I want to show you another source of amazing fat. Now, these have had, the avocado, these avocados have had a bad rap, just like eggs. I don't understand why. This is technically a fruit because it has the seed. The best part about this avocado is that it tastes amazing. It's got a nice deep green color. I'm sorry, I ate some yesterday, so it's a little brown today. And this provides an amazing source of fat. So you could put this on an omelet. You could cut it in half and maybe take a quarter of it. If you're a female, maybe eat a quarter of it because there's a lot of fat in it. Put it on salad. Sometimes I saute some shrimp and then I eat some shrimp with this, add a little bit of lime juice and add some tomatoes. It's a very easy meal. But this is an excellent source of plant-based fat that is not only good for you, it's good for your hair, it's good for your skin, and it's just delicious. I happen to really like it in guacamole as well. It is my weakness, that and a margarita. So I would say, if you were to eat one of these avocados, cut it in half and twist the sides. And if you're a female, I would recommend only eating a quarter of it. If you're a male, you probably can handle a half of it. But then you can save it. As long as you keep the nut in the avocado itself, you can then cover it up. And even if it turns brown by the oxidation of it, that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's gone bad. You can continue to use it, which I probably will later on today. So there you have it. So that concludes our presentation on fats. You've seen carbohydrates, you've seen protein, and now you've seen fat. Did you like this video? If you did, please give me a comment or like the video below and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to learn or you'd like me to create, and anything that you think that I should include in subsequent videos. The point of these videos is just to share some of the best sources of fats, proteins, and carbs, and basically help you navigate what would be a better option for you as you're creating meals. So stay tuned for another video on how you can pull all of these together so that you always know that you're choosing the right balanced plate to reflect the balance of macronutrients. Can't wait to share it with you. Can't wait to see you again. Bye.